Come on, come on. Okay,
Love Hurts. We just came back from watching it. And man, I love looking over to your seat when the movie ended and you're just face palming so hard.
I don't even have to talk. You can just
Yeah.
just say all my reactions to this film.
Yeah. That's the review, ladies and gentlemen. We're done here. Yeah. This was okay. So, what were your expectations after, like, before going to the film? Because I actually had very little.
I saw the trailer when it first came out, and I thought, okay, it's Ke Huy Quan's first, maybe, or one of the first major roles since him winning the Oscar, and I'm happy for him for that, and that he's getting roles. And then after seeing the trailer, I thought, okay, that didn't do anything for me, but I want to hold out hope that maybe it's still a good movie. And after watching the movie, I have to still hold out hope that maybe he'll get another good role somewhere down the line.
Yeah, the Oscar curse strikes again. This is Eddie Redmayne's his version of Eddie Redmayne's Jupiter Ascending. Yeah, well, I mean, it's bad. I didn't think the movie was well made at all. It's a short film. It's only an hour and 20, and
Yep.
It feels like an eternity. It's not. I don't know. It's just missing so many things that would make for a much more cohesive story.
Well, I think that's it. The problem with this movie is the story and it's the script, because a lot of the things that are coming together for it, you would think, okay, that works, right? We have Jonathan Eusebio, a very well-known action director, second unit director, who's making his directorial debut in this movie. We have Ke Huy Quan, who has done action work in the past, and he's won an Oscar, so we know he can act. I mean, we've seen him; he can act. And so when you have those two combined, you would think, okay, that's a great start. Now, do we like these characters? Do we like this story? Do we like the dialogue that's being spoken to us? And dear Lord, no.
Hello?
Morning, Marvin.
Every day is an opportunity to change your life. Good morning. Do you think I just woke up one day as a top-selling realtor?
You won the Regional Realtor of the Year award.
You better like these characters and the story, because for a big chunk of the middle, there's no action. There's so little going on. And maybe disjointed is not the best way to describe it, but it certainly doesn't feel like the story is told in a way that is easy to understand. And again, like the middle portion of the movie specifically.
I think that was my problem with it, because when we get to the middle portion of the movie, everything kind of falls apart. And that's where a lot of the exposition comes, where they're now
So much
explaining
exposition.
to us the backstory of these characters and the revelations that happen because of what they've done in the past, how it's all unraveling in the present. And you just don't like anybody, really. That's kind of how I felt about this. So let's get the actual story out of the way.
You do
So Ke Huy Quan is a real estate agent. He's very happy in his life selling homes. Very chipper, very positive guy. And one day he gets a Valentine's Day letter saying that someone has returned. And we don't exactly know who that is.
Not feeling great all of a sudden.
Ariana DeBose.
Mm-hmm.
She is back and now in his life because reasons?
Reasons. Oh, well, the reasons. That's You'll find out as you're watching a movie, and as you watch the film, you realize the reasons are not that complicated. They're not.
They're not. Mm-hmm.
But the way the movie tells you the reasons is so messy. It's like they're trying to explain it in a way that is so roundabout, and it's through those exposition and all that dialogue that I just felt was so clunky, and I just had to piece it all together in my brain. Like, yeah, you could have told this in a much more simplified way.
Marvin Gable. I thought a has-been killer like yourself would be scarier.
Who are you?
I think that the fact that he was Quan's character was he did the things that he did because he didn't want to see the love of his life die, right? Sure, or he didn't want her to die at all. So he did all these things, and I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so like as a movie goes on, they're revealing it as if it's a big reveal or twist that like, oh, I did this because I didn't want you to die. I'm like, yeah, I know, that's kind of obvious. That's not a revelation. Like, why are we revealing it? Why are we having a bit of dialogue between this, like as if we're telling the audience, like, yeah, it's obvious. Why is this movie told in such a sloppy manner? I don't understand that.
Yeah, and I think also my issue as well is, okay, sure, maybe storytelling's sloppy, right? You can have movies with very thrown out of chronological order storytelling, and it still kind of works because maybe it has strong direction or strong performances. I think the writing still is hurting these actors and actresses because this is supposed to be kind of a romantic action comedy.
It's a Valentine's Day movie. No, none of your girlfriends are going to go watch this with you. I'm just
there is absolutely no chemistry between Ke Huy Quan and Ariana DeBose. Like, she is just so annoying as a character. She's so aloof. She just doesn't have a care in the world. And I don't understand why we're supposed to root for her or root for their relationship. It's very, very forced on us, especially at the end, that they're interested in each other, because before the movie, he seemed like he was just having a fine life. Mm-hmm. Everything was fine. She comes and ruins it all. And they're supposed to make us believe that he wants to throw his happy life away so he can go back into the world of, I don't know, shaking down people, hurting people. For
yeah.
We work with your brother. He brought us in to find you. After you let Rose go.
What you're just describing legitimately ruined the story for me, because it's not like a tiny gripe. It legitimately didn't make any sense to me. So because if he really does love being a real estate agent, right? And that's he keeps saying he's very happy, and he's very happy, but everyone is gaslighting him into thinking that you're better off being
like a killer.
A killer. But he keeps saying he doesn't want to do that anymore. And even by the end of the movie, I had no idea what he decided to do, and it feels like I don't understand what the happy ending is. Did he go back to a life of being a hired killer or a killer, or did he get to live the rest of his life being happy? And I was like, wow, in both scenarios it seems like it's not the right answer. So what the hell, movie? It's just not a good story, and it's not good characterization.
I think that's just what it boils down to. This is not a good story. Yeah, we don't like these characters, so it is an action movie. How's the action, Will?
I'll say this right now: this is not a theatrical release movie. Like, this is not something I'd say go out of your way to watch in theaters. You can totally watch this, especially with the action, at home. This is a Netflix movie, essentially. There's nothing really so special about it. I think I told you, Like this, there's so many times where I just instinctually wanted to pause the movie in theaters so I could walk away and do something else, because that's just how I felt. Like nothing about it really engaged me. Okay, but we are talking about the action, and that kind of is true about that too. The action's, it's just by the numbers at this point. Like 87 North is just that for me. They're obviously not terrible. Like I do appreciate 87 North, but they're not 87-11 themselves, and
they're not the A team.
They're not the A team. Yeah, that's the better way to describe it. And sometimes when I watch their fight scenes, or any of the action rather, I'm just like, that's pretty standard. Nothing about that really sticks out to me, besides Marshawn Lynch just tackling everyone through walls.
Nothing's more scary than Marshawn Lynch coming full speed at you.
The action is serviceable. It all works. There isn't so many things that are glaringly wrong with it. If you just take it out of context, this is a fight scene between these people. This is a fight scene between these people. It's a group fight. This is him fighting his brother at the end. And it's not like you can't make anything out. So on that aspect, it works. But I was trying to think, was there anything that stood out to me that was memorable that I could kind of hold on to, that could be like a tiny glimmer of hope? And it really is Ke Huy Quan like struggling to just make everything about this movie work, because he can act, but the script isn't good. He can fight because he has prior Hong Kong training and he's been in action movies before. And despite his age, you can see there are moments when he is doing longer takes of choreography, and it's really, really impressive. I think the problem is there's just nothing too interesting about these scenarios where people have to fight each other. Like, okay, well, he's fighting in his office. He's fighting a guy with knives. What's interesting about this? The knives are feathers. Sometimes they're trying to keep quiet, so they're trying not to make noise so people hear. Like these scenarios, like yes, you can. These scenarios have been done before, and you can keep on doing these fight scenarios over and over and over again, and someone can elevate it to something better. But this is just very safe with the action as well.
Hey, are you all right?
I'm in the middle of a high-intensity yoga. Can you give me a minute? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, safe. Safe's a good way to describe it. I don't think it innovates in any way. I mean, it's love hurts, right? When I saw the trailer, I knew it wasn't going to be like, wow, this is the action movie you need to go out and see. Just going into this, but as soon as I clicked buy on those tickets, I was like, yeah, it's just, at the minimum is going to be standard. And I actually got my money's worth in that regard. I expected it to be that. And it didn't elevate in any particular category in the action. I think if I had to summarize what the action is like in this movie, it's a lot of environmental damage. And I thought that you'd be all about that. Right?
Well, that was like kind of some of the saving moments, is that since the choreography is so simple, okay, well, at least they're destroying the place.
Yeah.
But everything is just so boring with the set pieces. He's a realtor, so he's fighting in this house that is obviously just a set. It's very nicely decorated, and they're just wrecking shit up, but it doesn't feel like a lived-in environment because it literally isn't.
It is
so it's kind of boring in that sort of aspect, even though it works for the story.
This little 4-foot nothing ass spider monkey ninja got hops.
There's action in the beginning and action at the end, and then nothing in the middle. So you are in it for the long haul. It is, by the time we get to the action at the end, it's like, oh, thank God, something. Because you realize, wow, I think it's been like 40 minutes since the last action scene.
I was hurting in the middle. I was really struggling. And
I saw you nodding off, by the way.
Yeah, once we start getting towards the climax, you can tell through story beats and through pacing, okay, now we're getting to another action scene. So I thought, okay, perking up a little bit again, because I know action's coming. And when everybody finally gets to this home and action breaks out, it doesn't deliver because we've been sitting so long with nothing, right? Like you're anticipating something big because we've had nothing for so long.
Yeah.
And because it wasn't wowing me, I thought, oh crap, okay. This is disappointing. Even though it wasn't the worst, it just, you can't go that long in an action movie and then finally bring us back in, and it's not like, it's not getting you, it's not grabbing my attention.
Find them now. Swiss cheese they shit.
Don't worry, I've got guys who can patch all of this up like new.
Easily, we could have easily moved those action scenes around, because all it is just, it's a matter of the main characters essentially being in hiding, and there's people just looking for them. So it should have been every 15 minutes they're found. It's action scene. Action scene resolves. They're on the lam again. Oh, they're found again. Action scene. Easy solution there. Like, how is it that we have such a long period of time of nothing going on? Well, it drove me nuts.
Yeah, it's all the explanation. They just have to explain everything. It's about him trying to come to terms with if he really wants this life or he wants to go back to his old life. And then we have...
And even that, in that regard, they failed.
Yeah. And then we have so many side characters that they actually give character to.
Yeah.
Which is... It's surprising because it's different. But I don't like those characters either, so I don't even want to spend time with them. So it's just so many misfires. So...
John Aston, ladies and gentlemen.
So baffling. I wanted to root for this movie because I want to root for Ke Huy Quan.
Oh yeah, sure.
He's the underdog. You want him to succeed.
Yeah.
I say this with a lot of love and admiration. When I look at him, I see a Muppet, and what I mean by that is he embodies positivity. He elicits. Like a good feeling from you when you see him because of the joy that comes from him. Like he has all these great motivational things to say because of his past, what happened with him with Hollywood, and him now coming up. So when I look at him, like I want good things for him. And just like the Muppets, like with everything they're doing, they just can't catch a break despite the fact that they're so lovable. So I want something good for him, and Love Hurts is not that.
I thought about to say you think of him as a Muppet because you think someone's hand up his ass.
Oh God, I hope not.
Sorry, brother.
So I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this movie. I really would not.
Unfortunately, it's not a recommend for me either. When we went to the theaters, the theater was empty, and we saw it on not opening night, but the following day,
the same weekend. So,
I guess maybe it'll get that Valentine's Day boost because it is a romantic comedy, but I don't care about comedy. I don't care about the romance in here at all. And man, what happened?
Well, I'll tell you this right now. Like, I think we were in the theaters, all dudes, like all single dudes in there. And if you decide to bring your lady to this movie for Valentine's Day, good luck finding another lady.
Love hurts.